Hey, what is up, Wolfpack? And today we're going to be talking about Call of Duty World at War and if it's playable on the PlayStation 3 here in 2023. The game originally came out in 2008, so it's been a very long time, but I recently returned to the game and played a lot of it for 2 different days, very different days, one weekday and one weekend. So, I first played on Saturday, January 14th. It was a weekend, and let's talk about what I was able to play, if there was hackers or modders, and how many people were playing. And then, once we get through all the multiplayer stuff, we will talk about the zombies and campaign co-op stuff later on. So I played off and on different matches throughout the day, starting from about 3 p.m. until late into the night at 11 p.m. or so. And the thing about World at War multiplayer compared to COD 4 is World at War multiplayer actually had a lot more active players concurrently on throughout the day than Call of Duty 4 at least. It also helps that in World at War, upon hovering over every different game mode, it will tell you how many players are currently in that playlist for that game mode, so that is very helpful as well. Right now, at the time of making this video, it's about 10:40 p.m. on Tuesday, January 17th. And there was 20 players in Team Deathmatch. That doesn't sound like a lot, but you can still find matches and play Team Deathmatch, which is surprising for such an old game late at night on a weekday. So that was surprising to me compared to COD 4, where I couldn't find any lobbies late at night. But World at War was a lot easier and I could find lobbies. Earlier on in the day, there would be peaks of about 40 players playing Team Deathmatch, so that was pretty cool. But unlike COD 4, where I was able to actually find another game mode besides Team Deathmatch and play a match of that, in World at War here, I was only able to play Team Deathmatch. No Search and Destroy, no Domination, no Free-for-all, nothing like that, which kind of deeply saddens me because my favorite game mode in old school Call of Duty games is Search and Destroy. It was by far the most fun, most replayable, most competitive. It's where I spent a lot of my time, but sadly we're constricted to TDM here in 2023. But thankfully, you're able to find different lobbies, multiple lobbies, all throughout the day, even on a weekday, and especially on the weekends where there was a lot more players. Now, what I will say, in terms of modders, I did come across a few modders throughout my time playing on these 2 different days. So earlier on in the days, in the mornings and afternoons and such, I really didn't find any modders or any problems like that. However, once I got into the later nighttime, at least on this weekend, this Saturday, at about 11 p.m. or so, I came across a clear modder in the lobby, as you'll get to see in the gameplay in the background. He had God mode on and perfect aimbot, so he just kind of dominated, never died, and ruined the match for most players. So that was really unfortunate, so I kind of just stopped playing at that point in the night. And then when I played again on Tuesday, I ran into another modder later on in the day, about 6 p.m. But this modder, however, didn't really do anything noticeable. He only had a colored name and icons in his name, but he didn't do anything, and he had a conversation with other people in the lobby, and he seemed to kind of say that he was only using it defensively if he ever came across any other modders. So purely for defense and cosmetics, so that's a respectable modder, I guess you could say, if it was indeed true. But yeah, it was really cool to see how active the game actually is throughout the entirety of the day. You could find multiple lobbies at any time pretty much. But if you're worried about modders, it actually wasn't all too often, but if you play in long sessions throughout a day, maybe an hour or 2, you may come across one. I did play quite a few matches though, so the ratio for me in running into modders and just being able to play a match nice and neatly was maybe about 1 in every 9 matches you would come across a modder, perhaps. So pretty good, you could still have a good time and enjoy yourself playing this game. What were the players like playing the game? Well, they were mostly casual players, but also, specifically with World at War, there was quite a lot of decent players as well, and some really good players too. But nonetheless, it was still overall a much more enjoyable experience than the modern day SBMM Call of Duties. So, still pretty fun. I certainly wish to see it remastered one day. Also, so it could just simply revive the player counts and I could finally play some more World at War Search and Destroy, as I miss it dearly. But with all that said, let's go ahead and talk about the co-op in the zombie side of things, because it's actually kind of interesting. So on the Saturday I played and checked, pretty much all throughout the day, there was always at least one person playing co-op campaign on regular difficulty. And as for the zombies, on the weekend, there was obviously always people playing Noct, quite a few in fact, and quite often, there was actually double the amount of players playing Der Riese than Noct, which actually kind of surprised me because that's DLC. And on the weekend specifically, at sort of the peak hours, you could find matches of Verrückt and Shinonuma. However, there wasn't really many players overall in those two maps. But definitely Der Riese and Nacht und Toten, you could probably always find a match. Even here on the weekday, on a Tuesday, in the nighttime, you could still find a match of Der Riese and Nacht und Toten. You just might have to wait a while, because there's only going to be a handful, and some of them might currently be in matches, so just be prepared for that. Occasionally, you may come across a modded lobby of zombies where there's a modder, but it doesn't really ruin the game. In fact, it may actually add some interesting things. I don't have any footage of it, but I did play a match that was modded Nacht und Toten, which added an extra room and just some crazy things that sort of improved gameplay and made it more like a custom Nacht und Toten map rather than actually ruining the game or anything like that. So overall, is Call of Duty World at War still good and playable here in 2023? I'd say yes. There are some modders, so you do have to be aware and cautious very occasionally, but you can still play the game almost anytime you want and have a good time. But nonetheless, guys, if you enjoy videos like this and want to see me cover more PlayStation 3 games here in 2023 and see how they're doing, be sure to smash that like button, subscribe for more, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out.